Well, we may not have the Miller Lite late night caller with us, but we definitely have a Miller Lite caller with us.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to some of these cocktails tonight. It's like that one, I'd never had it before.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, if we're rolling, let's roll. What do you say?
That sounds like a good plan to me.
All right.
Boogity boogity.
Let's go racing, boys! Boogity boogity boogity. Yeehaw! Well, welcome, dear listener, to the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. Across the table from me is Mr. W2. And tonight we have the return of the one and only Mitch Clemens.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good to have you.
Good to have y'all.
Good to
be a part of it.
Looking forward to trying out some stuff tonight. But what are we going to try out tonight, Mr. W2?
Yeah, tonight is a metal night. We're going to bring Metallica and SlipKnot into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Slayer. Sorry.
Slayer wins. No matter.
It doesn't matter.
No matter who's battling, who's going head to head. Slayer wins.
And that's it for the podcast.
And yeah, there we go.
Thanks for tuning in.
We love you. Good night.
Was it just a couple years ago? The Metallica Blackened came out, and I actually got a bottle right when it first became available through flavor.com. Actually, couldn't wait to find it locally. I was like, "Yep, they have it, and I'm going to order it." So I've enjoyed it quite a bit. And then we've got SlipKnot. SlipKnot's Clown has been distilling and putting out the number 9. And tonight we have the number 9 Reserve, which I'm excited for.
Yeah. I'm hoping it still retains a lot of that corn flavor to it. Not Korn the band, but you know, the corn mash or whatever, you know, flavor to it. And we had talked about the Blackened before, where it started off sounding kind of gimmicky.
It did,
like big time gimmicky, not kind of, but big time.
Yeah,
it's like.
But I didn't care.
It was Metallica.
It was Metallica
for the sake of the history. You know,
if nothing else, just say, "Yep, I tried it. I've got the bottle."
Yeah. Maybe it's cool, maybe it sucks. Still going to check it out anyway. Just like that 72 Seasons album they just put out.
Yeah.
You know, nothing's for everybody.
Yeah, but as I kind of thought it through and kind of digest the whole gimmick around it, it makes a lot of sense.
And the gimmick is?
So, well, yeah, let's just dive into it.
Yeah.
So part of the gimmick is when they put them in the barrels to age, instead of, you know, when you age whiskeys, part of that aging process is periodically, and I'm not sure really what the schedule is for that. Is that, I don't know if it's a weekly thing, a monthly thing, quarterly thing, whatever. But periodically, you turn the barrels. And so the idea of that is you're agitating the liquid inside of it, knocking that char from the inside of the barrel loose and letting it permeate the liquid and bringing out the different flavors that come from the wood and that charring process. And so to kind of facilitate that, the Blackened whiskey is actually, they've got subwoofers cranked to 11 pointed at these barrels, blasting them with Metallica tunes. So they have actually sonically been infused with Metallica's music, which sounds even more gimmicky.
Yeah. It could be Seek and Destroy.
Gimmicky as hell.
It could be the house that Jack built. It could be,
right.
You know, anything.
That's funny. That's
but you think about, you know, you hear a car rolling down your street with the subs thumping, and your whole house is just shaking.
Rattles your windows.
And your dishes are scooting towards the edge of the shelf. Or back in the day, practicing at our buddy Dave's house, about mid-practice, we stopped to take a break, and when we went upstairs, about half of his dishes were teetering on the edge. I think he was resurfacing or refinishing his cabinets, so he didn't have any of the doors on there, and all of the dishes had just started walking because of my bass rig was shaking the whole house.
I don't know, either that or maybe he had too many of his cocktails were in the shaker, and it angered the spirits. He needed to use that stir stick.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've run into that before.
But so you think about that, those subsonic sound waves are kind of doing the same thing that you do by turning and agitating the barrel. I would think that doing that more frequently. I don't know how often they do it, or or if it's just constant or whatever. But potentially,
I would hope if
it can be doing more
in the
than
spirit of Metallica,
just a gimmick.
I would hope that it would be constant, just loud, and the neighbors are pissed. Like, turn that shit down. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't had it in a few years. Like, we got a bottle of my band into existence. We usually drink, something, or we would anyway. Somebody'd bring a bottle, and we would try it out. Hopefully something that none of us had before. So early drinking career, we would just try to be creative with whatever it was.
Yeah.
And bring something fun for the band to try out. So Blackened was definitely on the list. One time I got the Megadeth beer. I brought that in. That didn't go over well.
You know what I think is surprisingly good, or maybe it's just me. They've released a couple of them, but I'm a huge fan of the Iron Maiden beers.
The Trooper, yeah.
The Trooper Pilsner is fantastic, and then there's the other one. It's something Cat, Hellcat. I think it's maybe a Hellcat. It is a hazy. I think it's still a Pilsner, but it actually has a hoppy haziness like your hazy IPAs type of thing. But it's still a Pilsner, and so it's really good. And of all places, our Hy-Vee right down here carries it pretty regularly. So every once in a while they throw it on sale, and I go, add that to my cart.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Hy-Vee liquor department.
Yeah, unfortunately over here in Kansas, it's definitely gotten better, but we're still kind of in the dark ages when it comes to liquor sales and all that. And so your liquor stores, even though they're carrying, since they recently passed some new laws that kind of allow them to sell more than just your 3.0 beers, you can get a few more things, but it's still very, very, very limited.
I do actually have something to add to that. I just, the lyric popped in them. You fire musket, but I'll run you through. I'm getting older, so now I make my brew.
It works. It fits.
What you got? Add to it. Next verse.
Nothing, because I believe it or not, I'm not a big fan of Iron Maiden.
Oh,
Don't kick me out of the band, but I've just never really been a fan.
On that note, I'm going to excuse myself to get us some pours going.
I like it.
And we can get this party started. Seeing how we introduced it, let's go ahead and start with the Blackened.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to do these neat first, and then are we doing 2 neats and then 2 cocktails, or are we doing a neat, a cocktail, a neat, and a cocktail? He's open to either one. Let's leave it up to the guest to decide. Mr. Mitch, what say you?
Neat first.
Neat first, and then, okay, 2...
Neat before the cocktail.
Okay, so neat, cocktail, or neat, cocktail, neat, cocktail?
No, I think neat.
Neat, cocktail. Okay. So let it be written. So let it be done. Little Yule Brenner for you. Mitch, have you had the Blackened before?
Actually, sadly, I have to report no.
You have not? Okay. Well, good. I'm looking forward to seeing what you think.
That's actually a good thing.
Yeah, I haven't had it in however long it's been since it came out. So I'm looking forward to kind of being introduced to it again.
I always, honestly, usually when I'm in my liquor store,
Thank you, sir.
I don't know that it's never been there, or I haven't asked for it, or what have you. But I just hadn't seen it available, quite frankly. And I always forget to ask for it.
Smells very bourbony, very, common as far as... what's the proof on this?
So the Blackened is 45%, so it's 90 proof.
90 proof, okay.
It is considered an American whiskey.
I would hope so.
The age is NAS.
Okay.
No age statement, which means it's a blend of a lot of different things. There's some young whiskeys in there. There's some older whiskeys in there.
And it's probably all part of the recipe to get the taste that they were going after.
Yep, absolutely. And then the maturation on it is black brandy casks.
Wow, okay.
I don't know, maybe power suggestion, but I can kind of pick up on that. The nose.
I'm not sure I pick up on that on the nose. I'm looking forward to hopefully picking it up on the finish.
So this definitely is kind of a honey-ish amber.
Like a light honey, light amber.
It's got legs.
It's got plenty of legs. It smells caramely. It smells oaky.
The tasting notes on this actually say burnt caramel.
Burnt caramel? Okay.
Burnt caramel, oak, and honey on the nose with hints of spice.
Okay. I think I've mentioned before I have a hard time picking up on whatever, quote, spice is. As long as it's not like from that movie Dune. It wasn't Dune the movie?
Spice is Life. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was. Okay.
They released the teaser for part 2. I'm super excited.
Are you really?
I don't want to be rude, but the spice tastes a little bit like model glue. It smells a little like model.
French,
I'm getting the
Brazilian?
the old school used to put models together.
Oh, model car. Glue. Okay, I was wondering about the model.
Maybe that's the. I'm not saying it's bad, but
like fishnets.
Yeah, there's some.
Gar.
There's an interesting.
Yeah, definitely interesting.
Secondary smell.
Let's get some on the mouth. See what we think. Surprisingly smooth. It's got oak right before the finish. The finish is caramely, and I don't know about burnt caramel, but caramely and sweet.
There's a little bit of heat up front on this, but it dissipates pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, it's 90 proof. It's going to have something. I mean, all whiskey, all bourbon, it's going to have heat.
Yep.
That's pretty fast finish. It doesn't. Yeah, that heat is here and going. And I do kind of get the burnt caramel. Like, again, I don't know, power suggestion, but I definitely am picking up on all the oak notes and the caramel. But the model glue goes away instantly on the palate.
All right.
I don't taste model glue anywhere.
Are you a connoisseur of model glue?
Maybe back in the day. Just saying.
A little huffing.
Just, I built a lot of models. So.
It's a judgment-free zone. You can say whatever you want here.
A lot of classic car models. So.
All right.
The tasting notes on this, on the palate, say strong notes of honey, cinnamon, allspice, clove, and mint, with an apricot surprise.
Apricot.
And I have not found the apricot yet.
Some people call it apricot.
Apricot. The finish says long and smooth finish with creamy hints of butterscotch and honey.
There is a creamy sweetness to it. It's not as creamy as some of the other ones are. But I had completely forgotten every thought I had about Blackened whiskey. But being reintroduced to it, very happy to be here. I'm happy to be here and experience it once again. I really like it.
It's not a big bodied whiskey.
No,
it is very smooth. I'm definitely getting that char and that oak, and I'm hitting all those flavors, all those extra notes. I mean, that may be what's confusing my nose a little bit. I don't know that I'm picking up apricot either. There's definitely something. That could be the model glue.
Yeah.
To me, apricot has like a kind of a light taste. It's got a specific stone fruit quality to the taste on it. But it's really kind of light, and really I don't get a lot of flavor out of apricot anything unless it's got a lot of sugar for like apricot jam or preserves, or if it's dehydrated apricots.
Yeah.
And I'll eat the shit out of those.
And maybe the sherry casks as well. They're imputing
some of the black brandy casks.
Okay, black brandy.
Oh, black brandy. Keep on rolling.
It's very easy on the palate. And that's definitely why I like to do things on the neat first. Personally,
I feel like this would be very versatile for mixing a cocktail out of it. It'd be very good for your average or maybe even beginner whiskey taster, or somebody who's looking to get into it. And if they already like Metallica, what better brand to buy?
Yeah. Absolutely.
What's the price point on this? Did you say in your notes?
Price point on this for this bottle is $45. So the interesting thing with that is the last time I was up at the liquor store, every once in a while, currently I think the Stanley Station here not too far away has this one on the shelf. I ended up picking this up out at Lucas. When I was out there, I had seen online a announcement about it, but when I went in and picked up this bottle, they had the new release that they've just done, and I don't remember the details on there. I think it's aged a little bit longer, and there's something about it, but it's instead of a $45 bottle, it's a $100 bottle.
Oh wow!
So
I don't know if it'd be worth it.
Well, and that's the thing too is which obviously I haven't looked into what distinguishes that one from this one yet. I might dig in and do a little bit of research just to kind of appease my curiosity of that. But yeah, like we always talk about with these is where's that price point, and depending on where that is, in this case there's an option for something that's supposed to be a little bit better, quote unquote. Is it worth more than twice the cost?
What was the version of it?
I don't remember the specifics on there.
I would think like a single barrel version might be, I don't know if it'd be worth $100, but I mean it'd have to be the difference between the like the floor ticket version like we have now versus the meet and greet, VIP experience with the $100 bottle. Like if it were a single cask, I mean you break it open, it's not blended with anything. It's just what was in that barrel, and every barrel's unique. I would think it might be worth $100.
Here it is. There is a Blackened cask strength rye.
All right.
There is here's the one I was looking for. It is the Wes Henderson Kentucky Straight Bourbon. And what does it say? The profile in there is pear forward with raisin, cinnamon, tobacco, nutty, vanilla, grassy.
Not a lot of that sounds good.
It doesn't really say anything specific about this one other than made as a collaboration between master distiller Rob Dietrich and Angel's Envy co-founder Wes Henderson.
Well,
okay, so that's
Angel's Envy know what the fuck they're doing.
That's the Wes Henderson.
Were they involved in the making of this run of whiskey as well?
This is a 6-year Kentucky straight bourbon that was finished in white port wine casks. Cask strength and non-chill filtered.
Just curious if Angel's Envy had anything to do with this bottle here as well.
No.
Because there are a few notes in there that are reminiscent in my mind of Angel's Envy.
Looks like
how mellow it actually is in a few of the notes.
It is mellow. It's got a little bit of heat up front, but it's got sweetness for days. That's why I like it.
This is a $63 bottle, but it's the green label. It's just the straight Kentucky Rye variation of this. So yeah, they've gone from the single offering to kind of expanding into different things. There's a cask strength of this that is $73, which is pretty much this exact same whiskey, only it is 122.8 proof.
Wow.
That's a little bit hotter.
Yeah, quite a bit. But, I mean, we've got a pipette. We could hit it with a couple drops of water, and I bet it'd be really good.
Well, before I finish this off, if you need a little bit more, you please help yourself. We got the bottle sitting right here.
I'll do a little bit more, and I'll throw in a drop from your pipette there, or maybe 2.
This is so easy drinking.
It is.
Straight
it really
up,
is.
no water.
It is.
But the
necessary.
pipette is supposed to help unlock some of the other flavors in the profile.
So since we since we had you on last, we did a little bit of deeper dive into adding water to your whiskey, and
educating.
There's the chemical compound found in whiskey that actually is activated by the introduction of water. An ice cube or half an ice cube, way too much water. The idea behind the pipette is you literally are adding 1, 2, 3 drops of water. So you're not diluting per se, because that's just not enough water to really dilute the whiskey.
Thanks.
The idea is those couple drops of water really help to activate and open up those additional flavors in the profile.
Maybe it's just power of suggestion.
And maybe it is, yeah.
Two drops, I swear it smells different now. It smells lighter and sweeter. But maybe it's also part of second pull. Second pull always tastes different.
I agree with that, for sure.
And second pull definitely is very persuasive.
Yeah, it's like right up front there's a lot of oak.
I got that up in the beginning for sure.
But yeah, it's still the kind of creamy sweet. I mean, as whiskeys and bourbons can be sweet. It's not like you're eating sugar cubes here. But
and to Mitch's point, it is a very, very easy, smooth drinking whiskey with or without the drops of water.
I'm just giving you guys a hard time.
Yeah, we talked about that at your house.
Yes.
Like fucking pussies.
Yeah,
Putting water in your whiskey.
I'm okay with that. I just sometimes you need to do a little bit of that. Given the bourbon or the whiskey or the drink or the scotch. Or
What's he doing up there? Did you hear that?
Oh, no telling.
Is he?
I thought you smacked your microphone over there.
No, sometimes I put my drink down too hard on or my phone. I'll set it down I'll set it down like this, like one edge, and I'm like, okay, that was quiet, and then I accidentally drop it, and it's just like a half inch or whatever, and it's just like thunderous. It sounds like Henry's up there like kung fu and ghost cats or something.
Probably.
It's all right. Fuck them cats.
We jumped in the car the other day, and the radio came on. It was I think it was Master of Puppets, and Henry, before I had a chance to even say anything, he goes, Metallica. And I turn around and he's got the horns up.
He's ready. He's ready to go. He's been indoctrinated.
Yeah, buddy.
Nice.
Where would you guys put this on a rating system of 1 to 10? 1 being awful, 10 being super splendid. We've never reached a 10.
No.
But we haven't reached a 1 either.
And even though you've been a little bit more giving on your rating systems, I think we agree that we're both trying to leave room because one of these days we're going to find that 10.
We're going to find a 10. We're going to be
and instead of having to downscale everything below it, leave a little bit of headroom up there. And
I would say, as it stands, this. I mean, I could just tell this is a very versatile whiskey, and it would much like the sound of Metallica. It starts off one way, and then it goes fucking left field, and all of a sudden there's a symphony album.
Yeah,
you got a hoo-ah,
and then there's no solos.
right. But now there's all kinds of solos. But it's I like it enough to put it at a 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better than mid range, I would think, and the price point's not even bad.
No, that's a really good price point. I think anyway.
I think we need. I think me personally, and there's always that rating.
Yeah.
I think maybe you need to do a subset rating of, because you're talking about not ever finding a 1, but where's the 10? Well, maybe you need to do a subset of in this price point, you have this rating. But in this price point, you have this rating.
So you go like 30 to 60, over 60, under 30.
Sure.
Something.
Yeah. Yeah, pick your number. So this bottle, particularly for the price point,
45.
I'm leaning more along the lines of where you're at. I'm thinking 7.5. I might even go to an 8. That's not I could sit down and enjoy this.
Yeah. No problem.
And purchase it again. And share with friends for sure. So it is not a bad bottle of bourbon at all. It's quite enjoyable. Not as bodied, just the same as I don't always want steak every night. Sometimes I might want a ahi instead. You know what I mean? Might want to do sushi. I don't know, just chicken, whatever it is. Some nights you want a little different flavor.
Yeah.
This is a very mellow. I don't know. It's just very smooth. It doesn't. The body's not. It's not huge on it. The nose really tripped me up.
Yeah, the nose is different from the palate.
Yeah, the nose
and the finish is sublime.
The palate and the
really
finish
good.
are great. Absolutely. It's everything else. So
I feel like pre-pipette, I agreed completely with the burnt caramel. I think the adding of 2 drops of water helped open up the other flavor so much that it's not coming off as a burnt caramel anymore. There's still a lot of caramel and honey that I'm picking up on it, but it's no longer a burnt caramel to me.
And again, maybe power suggestion, but I agree. And maybe it's just the time that it's set or the water,
yeah,
added or whatever. But it did seem to sweeten up a bit.
Yeah.
So where would you put it on that 1 to 10 range?
For the price point.
I'm going to give it a solid 7.
Solid 7.
Solid 7.
So we all came pretty much to the same conclusions on this.
Yeah.
I'm 7.5. You're 7.5. 8. You're solid 7. I like it.
I've got the distiller's write-up in front of me, and just to read a little piece of it, it starts off with Sonic finished metal whiskey in a jarro.
Nice.
Okay.
You know how plants are supposed to flourish more if you play the Mozart? Now imagine aging whiskey with music. What would you play? Metallica, of course. And that is what's really happening now. And it goes on and goes into kind of what we've already talked about, the low frequency sounds, waves, to enhance the molecules. And every new batch of 5,000 bottles comes with a different Metallica playlist. That's interesting, too.
So, and with that, so the whiskey in a jarro, so if you actually make this as a Metallica bourbon, should it be finished in Thin Lizzy casks?
You know that song "Whiskey in a Jarro" when Metallica, like, it comes on the radio all the fucking time. I can't stand it. I hate it.
Do you understand my comment?
I get it.
But did you ever...
Thin Lizzy wrote it.
Right. Did you ever appreciate it in day? In the original version?
I don't think I listened to it.
Okay.
I
was
to it yet.
a Thin Lizzy fan back in the day. So to hear them do that song, dude, I actually, it was one of those things that I appreciated the fact that Metallica chose them as a band to, reference and do that song. So I know that may not be your choice of songs, but that's one of the things I've appreciated from Metallica. So, what show did you go with me to that last show? I'm trying to think. The last time I saw Metallica was really funny. It might have been with Eric.
I saw them the last time that they were in town at the Sprint Center.
So
actually, when you were at that show,
because
Katie and I went separately, but we were there together.
So
Such
whenever,
a fantastic show,
dude. Whenever he was doing a poll, and he says, "All right, so we're trying to get an age range of people that are here," and he's like, "Who's the youngest here, whatever here?" And so somebody's got their kid on their shoulders, to whatever new Metallica fans, yeah, whatever. All right, so who's the oldest Metallica fan? Who do we got that's 50? And so you get so many hands, 60, so many hands, 70. There's some hands. Whoa. And then it starts to slow down. I don't think we made 80s. I think it was in the 70s.
I think it was like 78, 77,
but yeah,
somewhere
some
in there.
dude was there, and it was like, how old are you? Because there's like three guys. He's like, I'm 72. I'm like,
and he was down on the
74.
floor.
Oh, he was on the floor, dude. And it was like you said, he was like upper 70s. He's like, we have from 2 to 78 or whatever the hell it was, Metallica fans. And so that encompass, because they're not young guys, honestly. We're all unfortunately aging a little bit, but to see them get on stage and do what they do, and like I said, I'm not calling them old, but dude, it's not easy to play what they're playing.
No.
And to run around the stage and Laura's back there on the kit and to be ripping that guitar as fast as they are and belting out these songs. Dude, there is a physicality. People that are outside of music don't understand how much physical effort goes into playing and being present on stage and making a presence on stage.
Yet songs I've written at 32 are more difficult to do at 42.
Right.
And they're not loading their own gear.
Right. No shit. Exactly. And so to see that, and then I always appreciate the fact that they have encompassed over their career. And I'm sorry, I'm on a tangent.
No, but you're good. You're good.
Over their career,
I was thinking about something else.
They've always been really good to tip their hat and nod in the direction of the bands that have influenced them and that they've appreciated. Everything from, a lot of stuff they covered on Garage Inc., which is not that old, but just all this.
It's mid to late 90s.
Right. But they were covering songs that influenced them that were around in the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
And so they were pulling their early influences all the way back to Thin Lizzy. Here we are, just using that as an example.
Yeah.
All the way up to what they do currently and how they've tried to keep up with music. And there's some albums that maybe we all didn't Saint Hanger like that much, but there were a couple that it just you take it for what it is. It's trying to stay relevant, and it's musicianship following. It's not that you're selling out. You are trying to always push yourself, create yourself, give yourself an opportunity to stay relevant, but also stay true to yourself. And so That's a fine line to walk.
Everybody changes over time. When I was teenager in the 90s, it was like I couldn't understand why Metallica, having written Kill 'Em All or And Justice for All or Master of Puppets, how they could go from that to and skipping Black Album here, but going from that to Load and Reload. Right. I was like, what in the blue fuck are they doing? But as I get older, the more I see that people change and they want to try different things.
Right.
But you're also a product of your influences, like you were just talking about. And one of their influences, I think, especially for James, was after they took Corrosion and Conformity on the road with him, their sound completely changed. It went to Load and Reload. Now, were they trying to go for a different feel for like what Corrosion and Conformity had? Because early Corrosion of Conformity, the first maybe 3 albums, sounded like Metallica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not their first singer, but when Pepper Keenan took over on vocals, you could definitely hear their influence, Metallica influence.
Huge COC
and
fan.
even Metallica. We were talking about Dimebag earlier with Blacktooth Grins and all that, but we had been talking about that. I saw a Instagram reel. I'm gonna have to switch profiles here, but I saw an Instagram reel where James Hetfield was on somebody's podcast and he was talking about Pantera and he was talking about Dimebag and how Dime was an influence on him at some point. So I'm going to play it real quick. Hopefully it picks up on the phone. Here we go.
I know that Dime was a gigantic fan of Metallica and covered your songs before he met you guys as a big fan. And those pictures are legendary, James.
Well, what a blessing to have been in his life and him in my life. And yeah, some of those early days, just traveling down there to the Dallas area and meeting with those guys and just hanging out. Dimebag introduced me to the solid state amp. I remember he had this freaking amazing crunch going on. It's like, what is that? So inspired each other. He inspired me as well, no doubt.
I know that Dime was a giant.
So that was just a little bit from what James Hetfield thought about Dimebag.
That's pretty cool.
And that was the I think it was the Metal Ambassador podcast. So, and it was shared by SMX Octane on or Jose Manigan on Instagram. Yeah. So if anybody wants to go after anybody, just there you go. I gave props to wherever the fuck that came from, but yeah, it kind of brings it all together, especially for us tonight. I'm hoping to see what this does as a cocktail. Tell me about this cocktail.
Yeah,
I'm getting ready to do something I've never had.
I'm really excited about this cocktail. I actually demoed it this weekend just as I was kind of trying new things and looking for the ideal cocktail for this. The interesting thing is, and it should be no surprise, but as I dug in and started researching it, I actually found a great cocktail on the Blackened website, and I also found a great cocktail on the Number 9 website. The idea behind what we're doing tonight, though, was let's pick one and put them both to the test of the one. So the one that I actually am going to make tonight is based off of the cocktail I found on the Blackened website, and it's called the Snake Bite. It is the whiskey, it is amaretto, it is Cointreau, which is an orange liqueur, shaken, and then served with a slice of lemon.
All right.
Now, the first time I made their first version of it, recipe to a T, what they had, it was pretty good. I thought it was really good. But I felt like it wasn't cohesive enough. And so one of the modifications that I did to it was I've added a small 1/4 ounce of lemon juice in there with there. And the lemon juice, I feel, helps smooth out the flavors and the differences between your almond flavors from the amaretto, the orange of the Cointreau, and then the bite of the whiskey. The lemon kind of helps pull them all together.
Just kind of marries everything together.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to trying this out.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So we're going to go from, and I'm going to make a transition here. We're going to go from Metallica, who I'm going to guess probably has $1 or $2. To brew,
maybe even $3,
maybe even $3 to maybe blend this whiskey. So I'm really excited. And I'm not saying that SlipKnot doesn't have $1 or $2, But it's going to be interesting to see when we hit this next whiskey and how it comes together.
I agree 100%.
In how it's made and the brewer and the processor and everything, because it's not that my ideas and my flavor didn't translate. It just might have had a little extra noise.
And so I've been thinking a lot about that this whole week. I've tried the original number 9. I know Jonathan's had the original number 9. Have you had any of the number 9s?
Again,
okay.
I have not.
Okay.
No.
We both enjoyed it. Very, very corn forward Iowa whiskey.
Yep.
Imagine that. The thing that's been running through my head, and I guess we're kind of transitioning into our number 9. The number 9 Reserve is a $90 bottle. Whereas the standard number 9 is that $40 bottle.
Yeah.
So from a dollar standpoint, we're putting a little bit more of a premium whiskey up against this Blackened, technically, I guess. But to your point right there, I'm really kind of curious as to how, and I have not had the Reserve, so I'm real curious as to dig in and learn that. I've got let's see if I can find this real quick.
And I don't remember the original number 9. I remember it was corn forward, like you had said, but
it's been long enough that I don't quite remember all of the notes on there, but I do remember a very strong corn flavor.
Yeah.
What I was able to pull
the Reserve has that.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, what I was able to pull from the distiller's description on there, it sounds like it's pretty much the exact same mash bill. With the real difference between the Reserve and the regular is an extra year on maturing for the Reserve.
Just an extra year?
Just leaving it in the barrel and one extra year.
Is it blended less? But that's all the information you got?
Yeah, there was very, very little. And actually the information I found wasn't even on their own website. I cross-referenced a couple different online, those cask. Was it casket.com or casker.com?
Something.
And then there's a couple of the online stores that you can get different spirits at. And so, I was able to kind of pull it together. It says, Best Celebrity Whiskey of 2019. SlipKnot has collaborated with the award-winning Iowa-based Cedar Ridge Distillery to bring the world an original whiskey rich in Iowa roots. Number 9 Iowa Reserve, made with homegrown Iowa corn, featuring a sweet and spicy flavor, and finished with a bold flavor at a higher 99 proof. Okay, so the Reserve is a higher proof, and I don't have listed here what the regular number 9 is, but this one that we're going to try is at 99 proof. So we're just shy of 10 proof more, 49.5%. And then it goes on to say that to further the quality of the number 9, maturing an extra year to allow more of the flavor to rock through. So with that, I'm going to get us a pour going.
Yeah, let's do it.
Heck yeah.
So I just looked it up. The SlipKnot number 9, the OG, the original, is 90% proof.
Okay.
So we went from 90 to
99.
And we got that from an extra year of aging.
So again, we're back to number 9.
Number 9. There's a whole bunch of 9s.
It's an additional number 9.
I would collar number 9.
Look at you. You're so fancy.
Yeah, I want to get the Blackened.
Totally cleansed his glass.
I wanted to get the Blackened out of there so I can.
Not much of a pop on that.
Didn't even. He's like, you know what? That Blackened might have left a little residue.
Yeah, I don't want Metallica to influence my
your SlipKnot experience. Right. All right.
But
I'm gonna follow suit here, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give a little wash to my glass.
Mm-hmm. And a little water never hurt anybody, so down the hatch it goes. If you watch any of the Whiskey Tribe videos with their tastings, they have a dump glass. So they'll rinse out their tasting glasses and dump it into a big glass somewhere. But we don't do that. We consume our water around here. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to trying this out.
Water's good not only for the body, but it definitely cleanses the palate.
Mm-hmm.
And you need a little water to So now you got me thinking. So 2 drops of water will affect the way a glass of whiskey tastes.
Yeah.
So if I just took a drink of water, how much does that affect my palate? Oh.
I don't know.
We're going down rabbit holes now.
It's a lot of rabbits and a lot of holes.
Ooh.
Hello, Alice.
Right off the bat, I'm pulling a lot of cinnamon on the nose.
Cinnamon? Mm-hmm. Cinnamon, maybe a little sour, something like sour. I don't know if it's sourdough. What? There's some kind of
Less oak than the
considerably less.
Blackened.
It's still got hints of caramel or kind of vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
I have much less model airplane glue. It's still, I mean, and it's crazy because you know how a real high proof alcohol, it has that burning smell to it. And I wasn't trying to bash on the last whiskey. It was just that, there was liquor there. You know what I mean? It was the bleed off on it.
The tasting notes on this say sweet, spicy, and bold. The nose brings cinnamon, clove, and oak. And we haven't gotten to the palate yet, so...
Yeah, let's get some on the mouth, see
let's
what
do
we
it.
think. It's got a longer burn to it. Luckily, it still does have some of the corniness to it. Not as much as the it doesn't have
Twist!
twist. It doesn't have as much as of the corn forward flavor, unfortunately, but it's still really good.
There's a lot of really good spice in this one.
Yeah, it's spicy. It's got kind of a light oakiness to it. There's different fruits in here.
Yeah, I think fruit is a good word. There's some different bodies for sure. There's much more body to this.
It's not a caramely sweet. It's a fruity sweet.
Right.
It says sweet and spicy due to the amount of corn and rye in the post-blend grain bill.
Yeah, I can pick up on some of the rye only because of the spice.
So with this one, the good news with this is, even though I wasn't able to glean a whole lot of information, I was able to get the grain bill for this. And post-blend, it is 51% corn, 35% malted rye, and 14% two-row malted barley.
That's a good amount of rye.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do the comparison to our previous, right? Because the last pour we had was much more complex, in my opinion. This is a different... This is more of a... It is really sweet. Man, it's pretty sweet on the nose, too. I don't know. The Blackened was... I'm going to go back to that. It was just... I was kind of set back by it because it was just pretty different.
This says that the palate is buttery with cornbread flavors, apple pie, and apricot. There's that apricot again. The Blackened had the apricot that we never found.
Metalheads and their fucking apricots.
And then the finish is smooth and medium long.
Yeah, definitely medium long. For the burn itself, it's medium long.
So maybe it's because of the ticket lines. Because you need a pre-caught so you can camp out for every good event. Apricot. It's a bit of a stretch, right? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. How many festivals did you guys go to? Did you guys ever do any of the multi-day festivals?
Are you still working on your stand-up routines?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. That's okay. I didn't say they were good.
He's trying to figure out why his joke fell flat.
Yeah,
He's trying to reverse engineer this thing. Like,
I'm going to check that one into the sit-down routine. There we go.
This also says that it's a blend of 4 to 5 year old straight rye and straight bourbon mashed, fermented, distilled, and aged at the Cedar Ridge Distillery.
Wonder what else Cedar Ridge Distillery is known for. Hello, Google.
This is also a no-age statement, an NAS whiskey.
That's surprising. When in the description you said 4 to 5 year blend, so it's somewhere in that range. They'd have to say 4 years,
or
if it's got it.
Or that's just the average that they're kind of.
I think I know what you mean. Well, they have wine and they have whiskeys. The Cedar Ridge Distillery.
Dude, are we talking about a SlipKnot or a Tool?
Huh? I'm talking about the distillery that made the SlipKnot. Oh, because I said wine and
right.
Sorry, my gears don't always mesh well.
That's all good.
It takes a while for them to sync up and get moving.
Maynard James.
But yeah, they've got
stay out of the wine business.
Okay, the 2 drops of water once again changed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Man.
I finished my 2 drops of whiskey. I may have to put Mark in the glass.
Okay.
Then I'll add water.
I just added my 2
Grab the bottle.
drops of water. We'll see what
There it
happens.
is. Yep. See it. Jonathan's got it.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. You know, I don't know. I just...
After 2 drops of
There
water.
it is. Oh, you can even hear the mic.
Yep. That's why I kept my stupid mouth shut. After 2 drops of water, the smell is essentially the same on the nose, but the taste, it's less oak up front, a lot more sweet through the entire process, and the heat doesn't last nearly as long.
Agree. The heat definitely dissipates. I feel the finish gets longer, but without the heat.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't comment on the legs.
I didn't feel like this one had the leg. I mean, the other one, it was just I didn't even have to swirl it. The legs were
They were there.
they were noticeably there right off the bat.
This one, has them relatively thin because I still have them on the side of the glass. I just finished mine, but probably just means less of a fat content in there.
And we didn't talk about the color on this one, but I think that it's a very very comparable color.
Comparable to the Blackened.
To the Blackened.
Like
So
a light honey, light amber. It's very good. I don't know how well this will work in a cocktail because it's Mitch already alluded to this. It is way different. Mm-hmm. You said, Mitch, you said that the Blackened didn't have a lot of body to it.
No, but it was very complex.
It was complex with not a lot of body.
But it had so many... I mean, it was very unusual for me because there's so many different flavors and tastes. This is a more common, I guess, what I would expect out of a bourbon. Mm-hmm. But it's still very sweet. This is still very palatable. There's a little more burn. Mm-hmm. Your burn lasts a little longer, in my opinion. I think it's there. I mean, that's not a bad bourbon. This is kind of what I expect from bourbon. A lot of what happened with the Blackened was maybe it's just out of my palate range because it was a little more complex. It did not have the burn. It didn't have the last. It just, I don't know. It was different. It was definitely more complex. This is not a bad bourbon at all. It's very drinkable. It's very palatable, but it's a little warm. Mm-hmm. And it's, at the same time, it's a little sweet.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
little hot, little sweet. Just like I like my women.
yeah, buddy. Wow. And this will make
was a really
I think
dumb
this is
joke.
going to make a good cocktail. I'm interested to see what happens with the Blackened on a cocktail because it was so, in my opinion, so unique in and of itself that it'll be interesting to see what happens with a cocktail. This, I think I have a fair idea how this cocktail is going to play out.
Mm-hmm. You might be right. We've taken some higher proof whiskeys and bourbons and made some fantastic cocktails with them.
Well,
and I'm just I think my assessment is based on the higher proof. Yep. I mean, I say higher, like 90 proof on this number 9 select.
Yeah, I was going to say
Reserve.
that recently, a couple episodes ago, we did a Noah's Mill bourbon, which is a 114 point something proof bourbon, and definitely a lot hotter than your typical bourbon. Mm-hmm. But we ended up doing, what cocktail did we do that?
I'll have to look in the agendas.
So,
but the point I'm getting at is the cocktail that we made with it it paired very well with it because all the sours and the sweetnesses of the other ingredients, having that higher proofed bourbon helped let it shine through while it kind of marries and blends in with the other flavors. So anytime you make a cocktail, regardless of what cocktail it is, those other ingredients are going to pull down and cut your liquor down some. And so starting with something, I would say starting with anything that's 100 proof and up is going to make a better cocktail right out the gate because it's got enough proof to hold together while it mixes and marries with those other ingredients.
So, yes, I was going to make a similar comment in that little burn that goes with it is not a bad thing. One of the things that we have had experience with in the past is that, I'm going to go back to the days of, having the boys over and playing pool in the house when I had the pool room, and Big Ron would come over, and he was a Crown drinker, right? And our buddy Eric was a Jack drinker, and so we had all these different, and those are not quality bourbons, but those were like you bring to a party bourbons, right? Mm-hmm. So the stuff that we had, and we would mix drinks and cocktails, and Ron was at that time a double guy, right? And I found as I began to enjoy more of those cocktails, and as he persuaded me out of because I'm not, sadly I'm going to admit, my days of Jack Daniel drinking. And the conversion to Crown, just for an everyday drink, but even though we're way beyond that now. But point being is that as you moved on, you started to learn different flavors, and this is all basis, and going to Gentleman's Jack, and then on to Crown Reserve, and yada, right? Continue on down the road. Not just for those two labels, but whatever brand you choose. But the thing that I noticed is that the more I became a cocktail drinker, the more that my singles became doubles. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how much better, that drink was. And so getting back to proofs, that burn is not always a bad thing.
No, not
at
all.
That body, that burn, when you're actually enjoying a cocktail, like now you're like, oh, it's a little boozy. Fuck yeah, that's what I came here for.
Right on.
You know, it is what it is, and you like what you like. You like a good body to it, and so I'm going back to the Blackened. The Blackened was very mellow, very complex, and it was a really good sipper by itself. I'm not sure how that's going to fare.
You don't know if it's going to mix as well.
I don't, because it is a really excellent standalone.
It was. It really was. Is.
It is, yes. As just a neat drinker, it was an excellent standalone. Now added to a cocktail, at this point, if we're going to mix something, I want body. I want boldness. I want a finish.
Yeah.
I want something. I don't want rock gut. I want something that's going to show up to the party to compete with the other flavors.
Well, and to that point, set flavor aside for a second. The fact that the number 9 Reserve comes to the party with an additional 9 proof.
Mm-hmm. No, there's number 9 again.
There's the number 9 again. It's coming with a little bolder statement,
right?
So that when it comes to a cocktail, it's got another leg to stand on, so to speak.
So that's the rowdy fuckers that show to the party and say, "Who let these goddamn guys in? They got 9% more. Fuck,
they got 9% more than any of the rest of us have."
Right, Metallica's over here. They're chilling. We're cool.
And it's like Metallica's got Coke,
and then SlipKnot showed
up with 9% more. Hey, fuckers, we're here to party.
They can't just be a standard 4-piece or 5-piece. Nope.
No.
9% more.
They got all fucking tribe, all 9 of them. How many drummers do you really need? You got 3? What?
Dude, have you ever seen them live?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I've never seen Metallica live, but...
really?
I've never seen it. I'd like to go this fall. Man. But I would like to
Those
go
are
this fall.
my top 2 shows ever in life
Yeah, first time I saw
are
SlipKnot
Metallica
was in 04.
and SlipKnot.
Tool's up there too,
Tool,
but for a different reason.
For a different reason,
decent-
musically, and the first time I ever saw Rammstein.
Rammstein.
Rammstein,
The shit
yep.
they bring, that I've, and not only Rammstein, what the fucking band was the first time I ever heard.
Meshuggah.
Meshuggah. Fuck yeah, we were at the same show. Meshuggah. Like, they bring interesting shit to the stage that you're like, what the fuck was that? As far as a presence on stage and the shit that you see, because this is not just about cocktails, it's about metal.
Right.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, dude. Jonathan, shame on you, sir. You've
what?
got to go see, and they're not getting younger, son. You've got to go see Metallica.
I do.
Best
I really do.
motherfucking shows that I've ever seen. Stage presence has been Metallica. SlipKnot's number 2.
I've heard Metallica never disappoints.
No, the thing that I absolutely loved about this last time that they were at the Sprint Center is they did a diamond-shaped stage.
Mm-hmm.
It was a square turn,
That's been
turn
a bit.
45. Well, the last time they were at the Sprint Center.
Oh, no, it's recently.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
No, I'm thinking of another
So,
time. Okay.
So they're in the Sprint Center. You know, most shows you go to, they block off the end cap and then they set up the stage and all this. For this show, it sold out and every seat was filled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Their stage was a square turned on its end, so it was a diamond shape.
Yeah.
They had a microphone on every corner and every halfway point on every side, and the entire show they just kept rotating it around. So you know, unlike a regular show where you're stuck on the stage right side and that's the only view you see for the entire show.
Yeah.
They kept rotating it, so at one point you've got James right in front of you singing to you, and then the next time around, you know, it's, right?
Yeah.
It was the coolest thing. Is they just kept moving and then thinking about that and thinking about, you know, I'm not a singer, but having a microphone that you literally can just, as you're moving around on stage or whatever, you can just go to whatever the closest microphone is, and there you go.
It's got the same setting and everything.
That's exactly why. Cool. That's exactly why that is my number 1 show experience, because the show that really took it away from me, and I can't remember what album that was.
Through the Never.
No, it might have been back as far as Garage Inc. And it was when they had a snake pit inside. So they had in our arena here. They had this, it was 360 degrees, right? Which is the kick-ass thing that I've noticed with them in their shows and their training, and they've done over the years. Recently is it's that experience that you're talking about, which is why I keep them at number 1. Because no matter where you buy a ticket, you're going to be visited by all the band members at some point in time in front of you.
Multiple times.
And so you're not stuck in a horseshoe. Or you're not, you know what I mean? Your cheap seat.
It makes it where there's not a bad seat in the house.
You're absolutely right. So at this particular show, this is why it's my number 1 concert experience. They had a snake pit, so it was not only that, where the stage changed and it popped up and it went down and hit hydraulics. And it moved and had a 360-degree aspect, is it also had all these mechanical arms and 4 points that were like robotic, and they had lighting trusses attached to them, and they could rotate and they could move 360 and they could angle back and forth, and the arms would go up and down, and so it was like having, you know, mini Tyrannosaurus. Well, no, it's like Brontosaurus heads, or I don't know, I'm just saying something at the end of any stage. So they could move with these light fixtures, and then sections of the stage during this particular event would drop down on hydraulics, and then they would come back up. So the stage was always moving, and it was changing, and it was rotating at the same time. So not only did you see, you know, like you saw the experience of microphones at each point, and they ran around to them, no, the whole fucking stage moved. Yeah. And it was insane. And these light fixtures moved. And then they had this other thing, and anybody that maybe experienced this particular show or this tour would recognize, because I think they did this, but it fucked everybody up here. So as these light rigs are moving around, the stage is changing and all this shit's happening, and they have people on the floor, but the floor it's encapsulated because the stage is in the center, it's still moving, but it's not all the way out like we've seen recently. It still had people on the floor, so it's still moving, and you still have your seats up above, but there's still a pit. Okay, I know this is getting too long. But anyway, the whole thing is, when we were sitting up there watching this show, there was all sorts of shit taking place. So one of these light traces starts fucking up, and like it's flickering, and it's failing.
Malfunctioning.
It's malfunctioning. Some dude rolls up, climbs up the motherfucker to fix it real quick, and the next thing it blows the fuck up. And you see him fall down, and he's hanging on the ladder he came up in, and his foot's all tangled up in it, and he's swinging off this fucking mechanical arm. And then you see people run up on the stage, and then they're like, oh my God, they're trying to rescue him. And then flash pots are going off while they're running up on the stage, and these people that are trying to save him are now catching fire. And then they're trying to save him, and there's all this chaos going on, and all of a sudden, shit's blowing up. The whole fucking show is just dissipating.
Meanwhile, the band's still going full
They're
bore.
going, but shit's blowing up, and all of a sudden the lights are going out. The whole power loss just comes to nothing, just down to a black arena. Everybody's like, oh, people behind us were getting up and leaving. Oh my God, fuck. Like, they think this dude's cooked, and they think, this show's done, and they're freaking out. And all of a sudden, this little tiny 60-watt light bulb comes down out of the ceiling. Weaky. It makes its way down, and all of a sudden you hear ching, 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 ching. And you hear, here's the snare, then boom, boom, boom. There's a kick, and all of a sudden you hear dun, 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 dun. And here comes the whole band, and it's like Beatles in the 1960s, around this little bitty 60-watt light bulb. And they pull together this whole fucking show. They move in, and they're like, hiding behind fucking amps, like, what else gonna blow up? All right, let's fucking finish this show. Dude. And it just slowly came up and up and up and up until the whole thing was back together. And it was insane.
That's
Sorry.
cool.
Long story.
I bet it was all by design.
Oh, it was absolutely all by design, dude. But people behind me were fucking freaking out because when they saw the dude burst into flames and the whole place blow up and everything go down, dude, best show fucking ever. And then SlipKnot. We'll get to that one, but I know we don't have enough time for this episode. This is like 6 more episodes in that conversation right there. I'll stop. Back to bourbon.
So, dear listener, if you're looking for a whiskey to give your metalhead friend that does enjoy a good whiskey or maybe even a bourbon, if you have a friend, a whiskey lover, or somebody that's looking to get into whiskey that also loves Metallica, definitely give them the Blackened version of it. Retailing at $45, it's not a huge gamble. It's a gamble, but it's not a huge gamble. But they will probably find something of value. On that note, dear listener, please continue to listen to us on every podcast streaming app available, including but not limited to Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Pandora, and many, many more. Follow us on all socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Just search for Savor the Burn or at Savor the Burn. If you want to send us an email, email Wayne directly. Email Wayne directly, w2 at savortheburn.com. If you want to email me directly, Jonathan at savortheburn.com. And no matter who you are or who you're with or what you're doing, just always remember to keep on burning.